You've been lied to. The muscle car era didn't begin with the Mustang. It began with a mistake, a reaction, a strike back. One GM executive saw Ford's pony car and said, "We need a Panther." What they got was the Camaro. And when the SS badge was slapped on, the American performance landscape was never the same again. 1964. Ford launches the Mustang. It doesn't just sell, it detonates. Over 400,000 units move off lots in the first year alone. By year 2, it's cracked 1 million. Young buyers are hooked. Every other car suddenly looks like it's wearing orthopedic shoes. Chevy is caught flat-footed. The Corvair is weird. The Chevelle, too bloated. The Nova, aging fast. GM's brass is sweating. Internally, panic morphs into planning. They launch Project XP836. Its secret code name, Panther. They want a Mustang killer. Rear-wheel drive, compact, aggressive. But it can't just match Ford. It has to outgun it. And it had to look the part too. The design had to be modern, menacing, and most of all, modifiable. Because Chevy knew their audience wasn't just buying a car, they were buying a project. The F-body platform would become its skeleton, light, low, and tight. With McPherson struts up front and leaf springs in the rear, it was no Corvette, but it was agile enough to dance and brutal enough to brawl. Marketing got bold. The name Camaro is chosen because, according to GM, it's French for comrade or friend. But when a journalist presses a Chevy rep for a definition, the reply is legendary. A Camaro is a small, vicious animal that eats Mustangs. Savage. The 1967 model year is go time. On September 29, 1966, the first Camaros hit showrooms across America. But this isn't just a car, it's a toolbox. Nearly 80 factory options, 40 dealer-installed options. You could build it to cruise, or you could build it to kill. Manual or power glide, 3-speed, 4-speed, or even the mighty Muncie M22 rock crusher, if you were really living. You could order rally wheels, positive traction differentials, dual exhaust, heavy-duty cooling, even a factory tack that sat like a stopwatch on your dash. You could also spec different rear-end gear ratios, from highway-friendly 3.08S to aggressive 4.56S for the drag strip. Performance wasn't just available, it was tailored. And this was no lightweight in engineering either. Chevrolet's goal was to keep weight distribution relatively balanced despite stuffing massive big blocks under the hood. By pushing the engine farther back and keeping the body lean, the Camaro SS avoided the nose-heavy pitfalls of some of its rivals. Chevy's designers also knew that customization was key. Enthusiasts didn't just want a car, they wanted a platform. Whether it was for drag racing, daily driving, or just turning heads downtown, the 1967 Camaro SS offered the blueprint for whatever kind of legend you wanted to build. But if you check the box marked Super Sport, that's when things got serious. The SS package wasn't just cosmetic, though it looked mean. You got special striping, SS badges, a blacked out grille, simulated hood scoops, and the option of the 350 small block, or more famously, the L35 396 cubic inch big block. This engine alone pushed out 325 horsepower, but with the right options, you could bump that up to the L78 version, a 396 with 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Iron block, solid lifters, 4-barrel holy carb, and 11-to-1 compression. It was a bruiser. Mustang's top trim at the time was the GT with a 390 V8. Respectable, sure, but the Camaro SS with the L78? it was a street brawler. Mid-14s in the quarter mile. If you were running 410 gears out back and slicks, you could sneak into the 13s. That meant you were faster than most GTOs, 442s, and even the occasional Hemi if they slipped. GM engineers knew the importance of traction, which is why the SS came with multi-leaf rear springs instead of monoleafs used in lesser trims. It also had beefier shocks, larger sway bars, and the option of front disc brakes. This wasn't just straight line muscle, it could handle. And it had another trick up its sleeve, the cowl induction hood. Though not functional in '67, it hinted at what was coming. Future versions would let the engine breathe cold air right from the base of the windshield, a genius move to feed more oxygen to a hungry block. The Muncie 4-speed wasn't just a good gearbox, it was the gearbox. Nicknamed the Rock Crusher for its unbreakable nature and distinctive whine, it was overbuilt and race tested. Buyers could also option the SS with rally stripes, deluxe interior packages, and even a rear-mounted antenna to keep the lines clean. This was form and function. Dealers also started getting crafty. Some even began swapping in 427 big blocks from the Corvette for special customers. These Frankenstein builds blurred the line between factory and fantasy. And while not official, they helped build the Camaro SS's underground legend. The Mustang had the numbers. The Camaro SS had the attitude. Buyers noticed, journalists noticed, and Ford, oh, they noticed. The '67 Camaro SS was the full package, a blend of performance and presence. But let's get into the design. Its Coke bottle shape wasn't accidental. It gave the car a muscular, athletic stance. A long hood and short rear deck screamed performance, while a wide track and low roofline made it look faster than it even was. The RS package could be added to the SS to create a hybrid, the RS SS, with hideaway headlights, revised taillights, and extra bright work. It turned heads at every intersection. And while the RS looked sleeker, it was the SS that brought the fire. Inside, the SS got unique badging, optional wood grain dash inserts, center console gauges, and a 120 mph speedometer. Bucket seats came standard, and for a few bucks more, you could add the rare fold-down rear seat. Fun fact, if you ordered the tachometer, it wasn't in the cluster. It was mounted on the center of the dash, like a wartime instrument. It's weird, it's awesome, and if you're lucky enough to find one today, it's a collector's dream. And if you wanted to go full madman, there was the JL8 four-wheel disc brake package, developed for Trans Am racing. It was available for the '67 Z28 and a few SS cars through Copo ordering. Today, if you find a '67 SS with JL8, you're staring at a six-figure unicorn. There were even rarer dealer packages, like the Yenko Super Camaro. Though more prominent in later years, Don Yenko's name started showing up as early as 1967. These were modified Camaros with tuned big blocks, upgraded suspension, and straight-up race parts. And don't forget the small details. Chrome trim rings, simulated rear fender air vents, optional wood grain sport steering wheel. Every surface was touched with purpose. Every option had character. The Camaro SS didn't just ask to be seen, it demanded it. A Camaro SS in Le Mans blue with white rally stripes rolling down Main Street? That wasn't just a car, it was a statement. A moving piece of sculpture that let everyone know you didn't just love cars, you lived them. On the streets, the Camaro SS made a name quickly. It wasn't just about top speed, it was about the way it delivered its power. The big block was pure violence from idle to red line. Drop the clutch and the rear end wanted to break loose immediately. It was raw, it was loud, it was unpredictable, and people loved it. At the drag strip, it became a regular. You'd find bone stock SS 396s running against GTOs, Chargers, Fairlanes, and Cyclones. Some lost, most didn't. One of the car's secret weapons was its simplicity. It wasn't loaded with gimmicks, no fancy electronics, no assist systems, just mechanical grip, torque, and guts. Chevy even tested the waters with Copo ordering in '67, mostly for racing teams and high-performance buyers. While most enthusiasts associate Copo with later ZL1 Camaros, it technically started here, with fleet and specialty orders allowing customers to bypass corporate red tape and get what they really wanted: power. On the track, racers like Dick Harrell and Bill Jenkins began to see the Camaro SS as the perfect canvas. Harrell, known as Mr. Chevrolet, built superstock drag cars that ran tens. Jenkins, the legendary engine builder, worked magic under the hood of early Camaros, proving they could hang with the best. And it wasn't just drag racing. The Camaro SS dipped its toes into SCCA competition, though that crown would eventually go to the Z28. Still, the SS remained the street dominator. And perhaps most importantly, it was accessible. You didn't have to be a millionaire or pro driver. You just needed a steady job, a decent garage, and a willingness to let loose. In high schools and small towns across America, the '67 SS became a status symbol, not for wealth, but for guts. You didn't just own one, you earned it. There were legends about them, stories of kids with borrowed tools and beat-up garages who turned SS Camaros into local legends. Cars with nicknames like Blue Thunder or the Widowmaker. Stories that spread across car meets, swap meets, and late-night diners. More than 50 years later, the legend of the '67 Camaro SS hasn't faded. It's grown. What was once a performance bargain is now a collector's crown jewel. Original SS cars in pristine condition fetch eye-watering prices at auctions. L78 equipped versions with original drivetrain components are especially valuable. Add a rare color combo, low mileage, or factory paperwork, and you're easily into six-figure territory. Restorers and collectors treat these machines like sacred relics. Matching numbers, original paint codes, factory-correct trim, even the orientation of chalk marks on the frame matters to some buyers. And then there are the resto mods. Camaros rebuilt with modern tech under vintage skins. LS swaps, independent suspension, Bluetooth hidden behind wood grain. They aren't historically accurate, but they bring new life to a timeless shape. Car clubs dedicated solely to first-gen Camaros stretch across the country. Online forums preserve stories, part sources, restoration guides, even VIN decoder spreadsheets. The SS still dominates car shows and track days alike. It's not just remembered, it's relived. And every generation that sits behind that thin-rimmed steering wheel understands why it mattered. Because the '67 SS wasn't built to fade quietly into the background. It was built to roar into history. While it was built for speed, the 1967 Camaro SS became something more. A symbol, a rite of passage, a rolling identity. It appeared in car magazines, posters, and dealership walls. It wasn't the hero in movies yet, but it was already becoming a star in neighborhoods, garages, and teenage fantasies. Why? Because it represented a choice. You weren't buying a family car. You weren't buying luxury. You were buying freedom, power, rebellion. It helped define what a muscle car could be. Affordable, fast, loud, and proudly American. And in a time of cultural upheaval, Vietnam, civil rights, youth rebellion, the Camaro SS became the chariot of a generation that didn't want rules. It was also a gateway. For many, the Camaro SS was the first car they ever modified. It introduced an entire generation to wrenches, socket sets, timing lights, and burnout competitions. It built a culture, not just a customer base. Today, the 67 Camaro SS is more than a collectible. It's mythical. It's the first shot in one of the greatest automotive rivalries of all time. It's the kind of car that still gets heartbeats racing at auctions, the kind of machine you hang posters of in your garage, even if you'll never own one. The kind of legacy that makes even modern muscle cars bow in respect. Some are restored, some are modified, some are barn finds with leaves in the trunk and rust in the seams. But every one of them tells a story. Because the 67 Camaro SS isn't just a car. It's a memory, a myth, a piece of living history with a license plate. And when one rumbles past today, idle lopping, exhaust crackling, SS badges glinting in the sunlight, it doesn't feel like nostalgia. It feels like a warning. Because revolutions don't end. They just redline.